for our kid, a lullaby, we sing Titanium.
I thought you're gonna sing WAP.
Wow.
Well, I won't be surprised the kids already know about it.
Yeah, I mean, they're twerking. They're born to twerk.
And they came out twerking already. Like, it's a girl.
Okay, welcome to another episode of Revelry Podcast, and today our special guest is Durio. Okay, so I think a lot of us, including myself, don't even know that you are actually Malaysian. Oh my god. So I think because she has already contributed so much, right, into the local DJ scene, and also one of the first starters for female DJs, doing all the right things, and that she helped contribute so much to Singapore that I'm like, hey, I thought you were like Singaporean.
Yeah, but yeah, actually, during that time I was kind of still quite new in Singapore. I just started working in Singapore, and then I got into FFF DJ Bootcamp in 2012. And then after that, we started ATTAGIRL, and that's when I think a lot of the work that you see, it's from then. It's probably 2013 onwards. Yeah.
And it's 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
ATTAGIRL, if we were still actively doing things, it would have been our 10-year anniversary this year.
So
yeah.
Maybe you can tell us a little bit about ATTAGIRL, because I think that's one of your biggest project, right?
Yeah.
Start.
Well, basically, I was saying, the FFF DJ Bootcamp. So me, Amanda, and Jada, we met in the 2012 the FFF DJ Bootcamp, and then after the bootcamp ended end 2012, and we were just kind of up and coming, just starting out, and then so three of us just had this idea why not we start doing our own thing, instead of waiting around for people to give us opportunities. So we just
that's it. If you want to play the music you want, your own gig, because if people don't want to hire you,
it's pretty much that. We just because we were also new, so the big clubs and all that, they wouldn't engage you right away. And that was a really good stepping stone. We get to find similar people. We're all up and coming, and so I think our first gig was at this really small little bar. No, not even Blue Jazz. Blue Jazz was our anniversary, but the first ever gig we got was I can't remember what is it called in Boat Quay, a really small joint. Maybe 20 people standing, it's really small, yeah.
I DJed at a similar place at Boat Quay, and it's called Devils and Angels. And it's no longer there. It's literally enough space.
Same row.
20 people can stay.
Yeah. That size, yeah. Pretty much that size.
Very intimate. Yeah.
Super.
Omakase.
So it's really
omakase, the music.
You invite your friends, your uncle, your auntie.
Back in the day, you already have that concept of community building, which is now more relevant than ever.
Actually, to be honest, back then when we first started, it was all just for fun, and it was really I feel, at least personally for me, I didn't think that far. It was just really let's just get a bunch of girls and just do something together, and it started really small. And then I think our first consider bigger ones was the one at Butter Factory back then, the one for yeah. But
at a party.
Yeah, it wasn't packed and all that, but we start having some people coming in and noticing us and all that. And then then the Blue Jazz was actually our first anniversary. I think we had 500 people throughout the night for Blue Jazz.
God damn, Blue Jazz can only 150 people.
Yeah, we took both levels, so maybe 300 people max. But we checked the ticket, it was 400-500 in the whole. So yeah, it was quite shocking for me. It was really packed, and back then, we also we didn't think about so much about the community work so much. But I think that the Blue Jazz first anniversary party, we partnered with I think some. I can't remember, but they donated this used skateboard, and then we get artists to paint on it, and then we sell it, and then the money goes to charity. I can't remember which charity particularly, but so that's when ever since that party, every time we do a big events like this, we always try to incorporate some charity work. And the following year was, I think it was Levi's, if I remember correctly. Levi's like donated like jackets, and then we get artists to paint on, and then we sell the jackets, and money goes to charity.
It's like a recurring theme.
Yeah, we try to like give back, but the community thing that you were saying, it kind of, for me personally, I think I realized it like much later.
It's like a byproduct.
Yeah,
Was it?
I didn't realize what we were doing back then. It was kind of like a little fun love project for us, but it kind of grew into something more, and then you feel a little bit more of like responsibility, a little bit almost like
your fan.
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't call fans, but like supporters, friends, like friends that we met along the way, and everyone would just
I think since I think that one not applicable for us.
But you know, it was like early 2000, like 12, 13, it was like when all the like female DJs are always having to debate whether they're actually DJing or they're actually good DJs. And
That's a great.
it was that era.
That's a great segue.
It was during that era. So there's also like a need of us to kind of need to prove ourselves a little bit in that sense. Like, so like I think most of us, we didn't even like DJ with like software. Like we don't even use laptop. And most of us were just like USB pretty from early days, yeah.
Right.
So it was like real-time mixing and all that. So it's like, yeah, there's a little bit of pressure there to try to like prove yourself in that sense. But
And then
yeah.
with the recent how do you even call it, like inception of superstar, A-lister, female DJs, credible. Is it actually easier now as a female in a male-dominated industry, or actually is it equally as hard?
Okay, like for me, like personally, I don't think I've never really gotten like any sort of like kind of sexist treatment in this, yeah. Because when you go to a club or whatever, there's always like some guy who set up everything for you and stuff like that. So nobody's really out there to fuck you up in that sense. So I don't feel particularly, I know some people have that kind of experience where they're like, oh, like female DJ, they try to make it difficult for them. I personally never really experienced that. So I don't really feel very strongly with that kind of view in general. That's my personal view.
Yeah, so no, because last time you say it's like harder, right, for
Oh yeah,
just to make it back then, because you know you have a lot of proof. But now that you know, we kind of move on to that era where okay, you are female, so what? You still can be famous, you still can be talented, you still can be skillful. You know, it's how much effort you put in. So does the negative connotation and does the sexism still is prevalent now, or not that much? Because you said from the beginning you never really face it, what? But is it like now better in terms of for your friends also? You know, yeah.
I think 100%. Like you see a lot of like really big artists, like Peggy Goo is one of the biggest name now. And back then like even like your dressing, you need to kind of be careful. So like you can't dress too revealing or what, because they will categorize you. Because back then there's the model DJ, like, you know, they have the model DJ era.
A few fuck it up for the rest lah. Yeah.
Okay, let's not do that. But yeah, so you get what I mean. Like, so we also try very hard not to, you know, be categorized as that, because like, I mean, and not all of them cannot DJ, to be honest. I know some so-called model DJs, they already have music background and all that, and they can DJ, you know. But it's just that kind of perception that it makes you kind of like, okay, you want to disassociate from that almost, like, okay, like don't call me model DJ or whatever, you know, like.
Right.
So there was that I feel. But for me, like, I always like to dress up, and I don't really care about showing skin or whatever, like whatever that compliments me, you know. So I just kind of wear whatever I want, and I just try to, for me personally, you just have to like kind of block out whatever perception that you think people will have, because people won't say it to your face at the end of the day. And it's not like I'm so big to that level where people will come to my comment section and be like, no, I've I've never gotten there. So like for me, it's like you do you, man, and people will appreciate, and yeah.
I mean, it also comes largely from like the male resentment, right? Of, I put in this effort into this craft for 10 years. And there's this like girl, right, that's like hot and coming for 1 year. And then she's like, she's like getting all the opportunities and stuff. And then back then, when I just started, I couldn't get anything. And then that was like that kind of resentment. But I mean, like to all the guys out there, right? Do you have any like, I don't know, tips and tricks to like kind of like manage that kind of like vibe? Like rather than being bitter and negative, right?
But I think this is also coming from a different era, right? It's like a different time. Like now, a bedroom DJ can be famous too, and like with the technology and social media and all that, like anyone can be big for different reasons.
Yeah.
It's how you play the social media game, to be honest. Like, so I don't think it matters so much. Like, I mean, I know like all these like OGs or like people who think that they work so hard on their craft and all that, but you kind of have to evolve with time also. I mean, those people were probably coming from the vinyl scratching days, like very organic and all that. But for us, like a little bit later generation, we start from, like for me, I started from CD era. You burn your own CDs. And
oh my God. Go back to Andrew Chow days.
So I love that process. So, yeah. And like next song you think about, you have to literally like leave your singing case and like you find for that one song, and then you like put back the next song and you find the next one. It's almost similar to like the vinyl, yeah. But like, so I came from the CD burning era, and like, so like over like, but shortly after that, like everything switched to digital, and you go into thumb drive and all that. So I think you just have to evolve with time, right? And all this like softwares or whatever equipment and all that is advancing, is making people's life easier.
Right.
So I get that the old school people are all like, we craft this for years and years, but now you don't need to take years to get to this point, like
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 the abacus era people talking to the calculator era.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, it's like that. You're supposed to actually adapt faster. The faster you adapt to things, right? The more you actually gain from it, from the situation.
Yeah.
For example, it's not only from DJing, it's COVID as well. If you adapt fast on whatever is happening, right, you're already gaining from it. I should have sold masks. I could have been a millionaire right now.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, that was good, man. And like, during the fidget spinner era, right?
Oh my God.
Suddenly, like very tired to like constantly chase the trend. Hey, once again, I don't know.
Yeah.
FIMO it. Then after, So isn't it very difficult to like constantly chase trends? Because why am I saying this? Because there's a period of time, right, where drop shipping was very popular, and then people are like constantly searching for the new and latest product that's hot to sell. Yeah. So isn't it very similar to like in our case, music, the way we produce?
Yeah, 100%. Like I feel like again, like coming back to, you were saying like all these people who are feeling bitter about all this. Like I think it's just a very natural progress. Like we all need to move a certain direction.
Right.
But the thing is, like, I do appreciate. I always have this little thoughts in my head that I kind of wish I'm born a little bit, I get into DJing a little bit earlier. I kind of want to go through the evolution of starting with vinyl and then CDs and then USB and like so on, or whatever's coming our way, right?
Yeah.
I kind of like want to be part of that, but I missed out on the vinyl. I mean, I do collect vinyls, but I've never really get to like have the experience of bringing your own vinyl.
The crane.
No, like,
I mean, like, I think for someone like you, right, this is like very fun because you can adapt and you can level up with the technology. But for people that like they are stuck in their ways, right, and then that might be a nightmare for them.
Yeah,
imagine you going to an international gig with crates of vinyls.
It's like a lot of shipping costs.
Just to go to the gig, you got like what, 40 kg of luggage.
Yeah. more than that, like negative $600 before you even show up for the show. Hey man,
That has to be in like the riders, like one of the riders like pay for my shipping costs.
it's not baggage fee. It's not baggage fee.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, let's talk a little bit about Heineken, man. Recently, their activation. Oh my god, just where we had like Heineken.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Heineken is like doing something pretty cool, like something like what Guess Clothing tried to do like a couple of years before.
Ah.
Remember like Guess Clothing when they like kind of resurrected, and then they got quite a lot of collaborations, a lot of influencers also starting to wear their stuff. Remember that was like before COVID. There's a period where Guess is like coming out. Like, you know, Guess is like an old brand, like shirt.
I'm not sure I know about that activation, no. Familiar with
There's quite a
yeah.
few.
So what were they?
I
Oh,
think before COVID So I guess like Heineken is also like a brand that's been there for very long, but then they want to like kind of step into the spotlight. So I think they did something with like salvagers, and which led to the first ever boiler in Singapore.
okay. Yeah, that's really exciting.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. What are your views on the boiler room concept? Because it is quite iconic also, right? Yeah.
I was like, finally, because I don't know why, because I think a few years back before COVID, I heard about Boiler Room coming to Singapore. But so in my head, like I thought it already happened in Singapore. So I was quite surprised to see this upcoming one is it's the first one.
Yeah.
In my head, like it happened before, because like a lot of our neighboring countries already getting even a few boiler room sessions already. I think even Malaysia already have it. So I didn't expect Singapore to be the first one. Yeah. So like it's really exciting, but Heineken have always done this, like the green room and all that always kind of also supported like almost like underground music and all that. I've been to a few like Heineken green room. So it feels very on brand with them, like they're the ones who's bringing a boiler room this time. Yeah.
And we can see there's quite a lot of like institutes, right, that highlights underground music.
Yeah.
Again, by Circle Music.
I think Budweiser and all that also like
ATTAGIRL music with Yellow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So would you say that it's like we are kind of like making pop music like not cool at it, you know, that kind of vibe, or like ostracizing pop?
I don't think so. I think like these days, especially after COVID, I realized like there's a scene for everything.
Yeah.
There's a scene for everything. Like I was like randomly throwing some those like 90s 2000 like Euro dance tracks, you know, like, and people just kind of like vibing to it, and I was like, maybe people do miss it, you know, people want variety. Like sometimes like even for me, I don't necessarily always go to like underground gigs or whatever. Sometimes I just want something different to the ears. I will go to like hip hop R&B club or like some Latino Afrobeat, yeah, like Cuba Libre or whatever, you know, like sometimes it's super cheesy, right? But it's kind of what we grew up with as well, like that the commercial, the pop or whatever, that era kind of music. And sometimes it's fun to just like kind of relive the memories like back in the day, like major throwback. Yeah, major throwback.
Yeah, I guess like a lot of us grew up and like stayed like, for example, you see all the old people, they like the music of their era, and I realize that era is always when they're 18 years old, 20 years old, when they're partying with all their friends, and then that moment just froze in time and stayed all the way to their 60s or something, you know.
Yeah.
So I guess like probably the same as us.
Same as
Then you know, for our kid, a lullaby we sing Titanium. Yeah.
I thought you're gonna sing WAP.
WAP. Then they are all kids, no? Yeah.
no, she don't even let her kids listen to that song. Can it be? Yeah, I saw one of the interview. Yeah.
Well, I won't be surprised the kids already know about it also, because you know.
Yeah, I mean, they're twerking. They're born to twerk.
And they came out twerking already. It's a girl.
What the heck?
We haven't even read.
We haven't even drinking yet. They are watching at home. yeah, so oh shit, you made me lost my train of thought, man. Yeah, but yeah, I want to discuss about your sound, your sonics, like
Oh,
because I think ATTAGIRL is like quite well known to be like lo-fi bass, underground
lo-fi.
mix, like minimal trap, trip hop, right? No, that was what I initially know you guys for.
I think initially when we were all like still pretty actively doing things, we were more heavily involved in UK based, like under the umbrella of UK based, or like
Garage.
garage. Like we just think garage, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Garage.
it kind of like corrected us. So, hey, our colonial masters, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, garage, UK garage, and like dubstep, jungle, drum and bass, like really kind of like left field kind of genre, I would say. So it's like the market is really niche, and I think maybe that's kind of one of the reasons why we stood out as well in that time of space where EDM is big, and I don't know what like now techno is big, but back then techno wasn't that big. Yeah, it was like really underground.
How do you guys do it? Like you said that like you started off from the CD era, right? So the thing is, like when you started at a girl and everything, it's somewhere around that timing as well, right? So all this niche kind of music. How the hell do you find out what's banging? Like yeah, how
Where's your chart?
yeah, there's no
Oh, you actually go down there and listen to the club music. So,
I mean, okay, like this part, I'm actually really blur. I don't know how I fully immerse myself in it at some point, but I think my first exposure was more like garage style, and then when like with DJing, you always have to do your homework. You always have to listen, and then you follow labels, you follow artists, and then you just one thing led to another, and one day you just be able to put a good set up, and then you start doing recordings, and then a lot of my like overseas connection with like all these artists and all that are through me playing their music, and when you record mixes and all that, like I would tag them, I would write like artist name, and then you put up the track list, right? And when I tag them, and some of them like actually like reply me like I don't know them, right? I just found your music randomly somewhere, and then
underground artists, they more likely to do that kind of thing. Imagine you think David Guetta, you be like,
he have 1,000 people tagging him. Can't I? Give a break.
you start underground, then you gonna play more underground, bro.
Yeah. So a lot of these underground artists are all very appreciative, and they would like message you personally and say like thanks for featuring me, and then sometimes like some of them like we end up like being friends. Like when I was traveling Europe, like I would tell them like, hey, I'm coming in the summer and all that, and some of them I even like crashed with them, and then like we became friends, like get the backstage pass to like
lifelong friends already, man.
Yeah.
It's very similar to the case when we had our interview with our friends, Doppelgangers Music, right? There's like two brothers, and then they say like in Singapore, one entire year or 5 years in Singapore, right? The amount of work they get, the amount of connection they get, right, is equivalent to 1 night in Amsterdam. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody in the scene and in the know is like so willing to help each other, and there's so many of them, and there's more opportunities than the number of DJs. Like the supply lesser than the demand. Yeah. So do you find that is the case when you are like traveling overseas?
I think maybe it's also culture.
Culture and the geographical size.
I mean, culturally, we are like Asians. Like we're not expressive. We're not that friendly compared to like our like the Western counterparts or like European people and all that. So they're more friendly in that sense. They take more initiative. They show their appreciation more. And I think locally, maybe like with Asian culture and all that, we're not. Sometimes you just admire from afar. Like even for myself, like sometimes I see some good things, I don't always come out and just straight up and tell you like like props, bro, props. Yeah. I'm just like, I'm still a little bit shy and all that, but I like like I just like recognize that effort like in secret, like I secretly admire.
The right letters on them.
Long time podcast watch, tuning in for.
Yeah, I watch a lot of the podcasts. Secretly admire.
Yeah, I guess does it like kind of like before upon the Kung Fu Master mentality, which is like, you know, very intrinsically Asian, whereas like overseas is like, hey, I show you how to do it, then you can copy. Then when you copy, right, you can copy the way better than I do it. Then I can learn from you. Then I can become better than you. You know, it's like that competitive spirit. Overseas.
Yeah. Like friendly competition.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah. But I think like, especially like in Singapore, it's so small. Like everyone is trying to shine. Everyone is finding their own spot.
I feel like everybody's trying to shine while gatekeeping.
What is gatekeep?
Like little
Expand on the thought.
yeah, like yeah. So literally, what's that? They want to shine, but the thing is, if someone else is shining before them, you know, like maybe close to them or whatever, close to their level or whatever, and they start gatekeeping and saying, "No, this guy's like shit," you know, like what's that? And this is not. I mean, let's say, let's talk. Let's say maybe random genre like hip hop. Oh, that's not really hip hop, you know, and it's not really how you mix hip hop or all this, you know, like they try to pull you down.
Sounds like Ip Man 4, bro. Hey, that's not real. Yongchun using kick.
Yeah, it's like really like they're trying to stop the progress, you know. So there's a lot of those things going on, and you know, like instead of like trying to maybe give better comments, you know, like you know, like more positive comments and everything about it. Not to the point that they're like you're like worshiping them. Like let's say it's just like, let's say you had a set, instead of like saying your set good, bro. You know, like I could have said like your transition from this song to this song maybe could be better or something. Could be better. Not like you suck, bro. You suck. Yeah. And something like that. You know, like some positive comments that's really like helping the each other out rather than you know, like pulling each other down, and some more talking behind the other the artist or whatever. You know, all these things all these things have been happening in our scene.
Yeah, I think it's also tiring, right? For let's say if you're at the top and then somebody is upcoming, right? Then you be like, hey, let me show you my secret so you can be also number one. And then from there I learn to be better than you to be number one again. Can you imagine that effort to reach number one is really so difficult? And then you make someone number one, and then you yourself must struggle with it all. So I don't think a huge number of people is that hardworking to like go through that kind of struggle all over again. So I can understand why people do that, because I guess it's a really human nature thing, where we like to be comfortable. We work towards comfort. We suffer to be comfortable, right? Cannot be comfortable.
Yeah. Also like protecting their own craft and kind of like, you know, like protecting their own space and all that, so they can shine, I don't know, individually or whatever.
They're very territorial to the point that they stop progress. They stop all this new things that's, you know, like new ideas or whatever. And it stopped there because they think that this is the right way. This is the right way. This is the only way.
I think like, I think change is very hard for people in general. Like I fucking hate change. Like it's so scary. It's so unknown. But if you see like a lot of people who can evolve with time and all that, like they are like the really successful ones. Like, even though like a lot of people will start calling them out as like sellout.
Oh,
like
our dear friend Tiesto, David Guetta.
Yeah, the Steve Aoki, like he stop drawing cakes, like you know, like, but you progress, like you progress with time and stay relevant, and that's kind of how you want to do it. Like I think that when I was younger, I am kind of like that too. I am a little bit judgmental, and you know, you want to keep to being very original and all that.
Yep.
But I think these days, like, you know, as you like grow older, you're just like, you also not want to shut yourself down from this new experience or new changes that's coming your way, and just kind of try to embrace seeing what different things that other people are doing. I mean, that's how you grow, right? Otherwise, you're gonna just stay in one place and where's the growth, you know? Like,
at the end of the day, as we are growing older, we soon realize that there's no such thing as something that's truly original, because everything else been invented has really been invented. Now it's just about interpretation.
Yeah.
So
like having your own flavors or your own style or whatever a little bit. Yeah. I mean, that's the truth, right? There's nothing original.
Yeah. Like, I'm good. Yeah, I'm feeling alright.
John is here, by the way.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, David Guetta and BB Rexa, man. Yeah, so for example, David Guetta recently announced that, hey guys, I just want to share with you guys a very epic news. I'm now the number 4 most played artist in the world. Not the number 4 DJ. Number 4, yeah, artist. That means the only people above him is like The Weeknd, Taylor Swift, and then he's like number 4.
Ooh.
So I think he showed other DJs that, oh my god, we can also reach that level. That kind of like open our minds to like just be so.
Is he gonna do a 6-day tour again as well in Singapore?
6 days.
Like Taylor Swift.
I just heard about that too.
Yeah, or maybe it's just for the top 3. He's number 4, so he won't do that right the tour.
Maybe just put a CDJ on loop in 6 days tour.
Playing I'm Good the whole way.
All those on YouTube. But do you continue producing music?
No, I took like Ableton class. Like, I don't know, back in 2000, probably like 15 or something. And I just kind of accepted that I'm not gifted in technology and like producing, I guess.
Composition and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, it's really like, cause like I don't come from any like musical background. Like my most successful musical
And
endeavors is probably playing the tambourine in church. Like,
one level up from triangle.
yeah,
From the bottom.
one level up. So yeah, so like back then, like I was actually really interested because I feel like I think progressing from being a DJ, I think you do need to have some sort of like your own producers or remixes or something that people kind of tie you back to, as opposed to just playing other people's track, right?
Yeah.
So there was a period of time where I thought about it and I took up this Ableton class and all that, but I'm not like a super techie person. So like even just the interface like really scares me a lot, and I never really got into it. But after that, I'm just like, just accept the fact that you just need to find interesting stuff like remixes or interesting tracks that are kind of, when you put up a set, like kind of makes you, even though you're playing other people's track, but everyone still have their own individual style, certain elements that I'm particularly drawn to that kind of makes it your sound, even though it's not your track, you know?
So what?
Pass back to you.
Yeah, what's in Durio's sound then right now? What's the
Sanity, happy, in the beach.
Oh, in the beach.
I don't know.
Sexy.
Kind of. It's I don't know, like all those very sport music parties, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So like I think like this, at least this past 1 year, when things like start opening up, I'm getting a lot of gigs that not necessarily things that I usually play. Like I'm getting out of my comfort zone a lot these days. I have to sometimes curate a set that with a list of tracks that I've never played in my life. Like there are tracks that you know, like housey stuff and whatever it is, like, but I never really had the chance to play before, I guess.
Right.
So it like it wasn't my forte, so to speak.
Right.
But also like when opportunity comes, like these days I also try to just, I'm saying yes to a lot of things.
So like the Johnny Walker thing that we were.
Oh yeah.
Is hip hop essentially your thing?
Hip hop, like if you notice, like most of the stuff that I play is like more like the 90s, 2000s, like what we grew up with, and I always like to play original.
Yeah, it's very similar.
I do.
Love original.
original?
When like you go to a club and a lot of the remixes, like they start with the original and then they progress to like
Song mashup.
yeah, and I was, you know, like you anticipating the good part, and I feel like they just spoil it with the remixes, and I found that it's just so frustrating. That I love the originals, you know. Like don't
catch up to the.
yeah. They're great the way it is. Like I don't know. Maybe I'm just like old.
For the classics, for the
Yeah.
the 5-upon-5 songs.
Yeah, don't need to change it. It's great the way it is.
Unless the song is like kind of like underground and like you want to introduce this song name, maybe like put some pop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like sometimes you try to mix in with a bit of like new school hip hop, I guess. Like, yeah. So, but like, I mean, the truth is, I'm not like the best like hip hop DJs, but like, because like hip hop DJs like to cut and chop, like, I think right after the first chorus or whatever, very fast. But I realized that a lot of party goers, like, they told me, because I play hip hop as if like, I'm playing house, right? Like,
our opposite brothers, we play techno and techno and house, like how we play just
cut and chop so fast. But I mean, like, as a DJ, you have that sense of fulfillment there because you're like, oh fuck, that's like a good transition, whatever. But as people who are there to party, a lot of people like told me like they prefer the way I do it because like they are like, and a lot of hip hop and R&B days, like, it's a lot of like sing along and all that. So it's kind of like giving them some sort of like blue balls, like they're like, about to drop, and then you cut to like the next track. So people feel frustrated. Like, that's as far as what people told me. And so I was like, oh, okay, like, so this works out then. Like, so I do like to play all that, but I mean, I don't know, on maybe on the professional hip hop DJ level, I'm not that great at it. I don't know.
Well, sometimes people that's playing hip hop, right? Sometimes they're like forcing the next song in, Yeah, so basically because it's all about the bounce whenever you're doing hip hop. So like, how they dance and everything. You're grooving, you're bouncing and everything. And after that, you suddenly put in something that's like a bit. It ruins the whole vibe. So yeah, some people just wanna put it in just because it's the same BPM or something. Like it's they don't understand the whole thing, the whole grooving thing, the whole atmosphere whenever you play hip hop.
Yeah, I think hip hop is so hard to play though. Like, hip hop is the hardest, I think. For me, like, it's a challenge. But I do play it quite often these days. But for me, like, I still feel like it's like a very foreign category for me. Like, when I have to play that, I always feel like it's kind of like stressful for me almost. Like, I'm always like thinking like if I'm having a good transition and all that. And sometimes you fuck it up because like the intros are usually so short. Like when you're so used to playing like 4/4 beats, like it's like whoa, like you gotta like
the hand rate busy.
Yeah, like properly busy, not like the fake ones when you're actually doing.
The thing is, the difference between transitioning from being a hip hop DJ to in like an EDM DJ and back, right? As a person that plays hip hop a lot last time, then after that I transitioned to an EDM set. I feel very bored, man. Well, when you're transiting, then after that it's like you need to wait. Then the drop is super long. Then the first time I played the house, right, I in Bali, I asked my friend like, so what do you do when you're waiting? Then after you clap or something, you just interact with the guests. Like,
You pretend like
I was like, because in hip hop, and that's clicking, like doing a lot of things. We're actually
totally.
the hip hop's like the thing is, when we're playing hip hop, it's like really we're actually DJing, we're actually mixing very very fast. Then after that, EDM is like really super long. So I'm just like, so what do you do then?
I guess a lot of the techno DJs like Charlotte David, they have like a RMX 1000 where they would samples like and kicks and claps. They will like reprogram the song. Yeah.
You know what my friend told me? It's either that or you just smoke. I smoke. I finished 2 packs. You can see one of my picture in Bali, right? I'm like DJing while there's a stick on my hand. Yeah. Really, there's nothing to do, so I'm just like really bored.
Yeah, I guess James Hype, also another open format DJ that became a house legend, right? He showed us what to do lah. Rather than if you play 2 decks, you play 4 decks dude. So you 4 decks, then you have acapella, and then the other side do effects and scratching. 2 is too boring, do 4, dude. True.
Yeah.
But then the problem with 4DX is, can you afford 4DX at your house? Fuck man, now we already got controllers, yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. And
It's an expensive.
yeah, that's the thing. Oh, okay. So so currently, other than, are you like considered like touring?
No.
I need Malaysia and Singapore gigs.
I mean, I live in KL now, but most of my DJ engagement is coming from Singapore. Because I used to live in Singapore for 13 years before lockdown. So the connection, the network and everything, it still kind of remains here. And also, I think Singapore pays better as well. So I will come here and DJ few times a month at least these days. Yeah, I've been like pretty blessed that I'm getting good engagement and all that. So
I thought something. Have you ever thought of becoming a resident DJ?
oh, I thought of it, but no. My answer is no.
Yes, please tell us why.
We want to know that. That's a juicy story right there. Yeah. What's the take on that?
I've never been a resident DJ before, but it's just like, I think the idea of it is, I think I will lose a lot of freedom in that sense. I know like resident DJs, like most of them you can't take outside engagement or gigs or any opportunities.
Yep.
And also like if you work in a big club, like in my understanding, most of the time you probably have to open for guest DJs and all that.
Yep.
I feel like there's a lot of restriction in terms of creativity or in terms of freedom where you can play what you want. So I've never actually considered that. Like it's just that idea was floating around, but no, I never actually thought of it.
I think most people look at resident DJ as like, okay, a secure job, like a regular income. And then but whereas outside you have to like do your own accounts, must chase for money, create your own network, PR with the club owners.
Yeah.
So it feels like, wow, so many extra jobs that they need to do other than just press play.
But that's part of the hustle, right? It's part of that. Like a lot of DJs are we all like considering we are like self-managing, right? Like, and also a lot of DJs I know, especially local DJs, almost everyone have a day job or something.
Yeah.
So DJing is kind of like their side income or side hustle or like a secondary job or something. So like I don't think it's that big of an issue. Like back then when I was living in Singapore, I also have I was working in Singapore and all that. So DJing has always been kind of like a passion project, like a fun thing on the side. Extra income.
Full time. You're DJing full time?
I think I'm full-time freelancing for now.
Full-time freelance DJ.
Yeah.
Do you have like a day job?
No. Yeah. I have I have other things that I want to start doing. Not technically business. It's a course that I'm very passionate about. Like love and relationship kind of.
Hustler.
Yeah, I wouldn't exactly say that I'm gonna go into counseling, but I have this course that is similar. It's like a coaching kind of course that I'm passionate about, and yeah, I'm gonna start on that and see what I can do with that as well. Yeah.
Because all this is like talking to people kind of session, right? It can be like Zoom, you can work from home, work remotely.
Exactly. Like I think during lockdown time when we all have no place to go, like I think a lot of people are getting into wellness, mental health and self-development and all that. So that was one of the things that I think I grew to find that I'm passionate about.
Yep.
Like I like talking about it. I'm very intrigued about people's take on relationship or even like sexuality in general and all that. Yeah, so
I actually studied that my degree is behavioral psychology. The thing about it is that we discuss everything from infancy stage and everything. You can even do behavioral manipulations and all this stuff. So the thing about it is all this love thing, right? Whenever you this is the most useful thing I learned in that course. Like let's say you have a girlfriend or like a partner or whatever, or maybe just your boss or whatever. Someone that's like in a relationship with you, like as a kind of relationship. So the thing is, let's say they're frustrated of whatever it is, like maybe they're friends or whatever, or they're frustrated with you. So you can just ask them this question, like so to disarm them. So how does it make you feel? You can just keep on asking questions like that.
Yeah.
So like all these kind of questions, right? Then they'll talk about it and everything. You can even like wash the dishes and everything, play your games, whatever. Then you just keep on repeating all these kind of questions. Oh, really? You just keep on asking questions, right? At the end of the thing, you see them like distressed. Like everything's released already. That's actually what a lot of
I think that's what most therapists.
therapy. Most of the therapists let you talk. So they just ask you questions and everything about So what they think about it? How does it make you feel? Do you think it's the right thing? It's actually that's how they disarm you and make you feel better. Yeah.
I think it's amazing that sometimes when they ask this question is some of the question that you've never asked yourself. So when they ask that, you have a lot of like realization on your own.
It's actually self-reflection.
Yeah, 100%. But these are the questions that you've never asked yourself. So when someone asks it, then you finally like, it may sound like really simple, but sometimes it make you think, right? But these are the things that you never ask yourself.
Actually, to tell the truth, all these things, right, especially on this mental health or whatever issues, right, people just need to release. People just need to talk. People just need to talk to someone. Sometimes like the therapist, you're just paying him there just to actually just sit down and listen to you. You can actually do that with a friend, but the friend will actually nag you.
If a friend is Joshua Dylan, he get 5 seconds.
Yeah, when is Joshua Dylan is gonna pour a drink in your mouth. Yeah, but actually all this
Your problems over here.
but actually all these things, right? Like all these topics about people being stressed up or whatever, they just really need to release. So a lot of people are very they're struggling to do that because of judgment, especially from
Insecurities also, in own insecurity.
and they need someone. They actually need to pay someone unknown, like a therapist, to actually release it, so that like there's a like they cannot tell it, for NDA, non-disclosure, whatever. So I think if ever anybody is having all this stress, all this something that you cannot really you cannot describe, like you're actually struggling to express yourself, whatever, you just go to a therapist and just pay the money and release it there. You'll feel a lot better.
Or you call Kevin.
Yeah.
He would talk to you.
If it's love part, I'm not good at that. You can call Durio about it. Yeah, and talk about music and love.
The course like you take 1 year and you graduate.
No, it's actually, this one is a self-learning pace. I think it costs about like maybe 3,000 plus Sing or something. It's self-learning. It's like can't remember how long. So it really depends on how you allocate your time and all that. But I think like what really got me interested was a lot of it came from like COVID and the lockdown time when you have to sit with yourself a lot. You sit with your own feelings, and I think we all have a lot of your own demons that you have to deal with at the time, because you can't distract yourself with anything else. You can't go out, you can't drink or what. Like
I think I really have a problem, man. I can't even shower without music. I can't even have thoughts in my head like I'm just showering. I need to like on some music or watch Mr. Beast around me when I shower.
Yeah. I think that was like the difficult part for me also, with sitting with your own thoughts, and but also through that experience, I think I became so much more like, I have so much more empathy, like something kind of like opened up where I became more sensitive, but also I start crying more and all that.
And that's actually good.
Yeah.
Because like the more you unpack all this pent up emotions, whatever, right? The more you unpack that, after that, once you unpack everything, you dissect everything and understand what's going on.
Yeah.
That's actually how you start solving the problems.
Like the more you allow yourself to feel, for yourself, starting with yourself, then you're able to feel for other people as well. And yeah, you tend to be, you have more empathy. You're able to kind of, you don't look at things in the one perspective when someone tell you things. Like when you were saying, like, like when people need friend to talk to and all that. But the thing is, like, you don't feel safe to tell anyone your issues. Like being vulnerable is so difficult. And you need to also be you need to be smart about who you're choosing to be vulnerable with, because not every friend is able to have that space, set aside that space for you. Because if you have a shit ton of things to unload, like, you need to be sure that your friend
Also don't have shit ton of stuff.
yeah. Otherwise, you guys are just gonna be like toxic together. You know, like you already have a bunch of like
And that's when
negative thoughts, and then this person come in and give you even more negative thoughts. Like just kind of being what they call it, toxic positivity. You know, supporting all your toxic trait or whatever. Like, I think. But I think, yeah, you need to be like selective with who you want to talk to as well. Like, yeah, you need to be smart about it. And I think that was like the thing that I learned a lot during this lockdown, and it kind of led me to I want to try to be able to connect with people more on that kind of level, and I want to be able to understand people coming from like different place, different background, different
Mental space.
yeah.
it's actually very interesting. You're right. Like what's that? You want to see how their chain of thoughts is from different backgrounds.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a lot.
I'm already psychoanalyzing people anyway, so I might as well might as well channel that into like something that
is
yeah. Hopefully, come talk to me. And then
the plan. Then are you gonna like work under someone in a clinic, or you gonna start your own thing? Or?
I don't know yet. I mean, the truth is like because like I don't know 100% how
The space, right?
or this particular course, like what kind of takeaway I would get from this course. So I will, let me finish it and I'll update you again and see.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm like, come here and promote my Zoom call therapy session.
Next thing you know, a lot.
Give you discount.
Then next thing you know, a lot of couples, the DJ couples or whatever, are coming to you already.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, with the resurgence of social media, right? Do you think that it's actually taking over? Let's just say you want to start your own this thing as a business, and then you don't want to work under someone. You probably have to do YouTube videos, right? To like promote it. Yeah. Would you say the same about like music? And are you like looking at starting like a YouTube channel or something?
Oh.
It's like production, it's like production, but it's like video.
Like even like coming to this podcast, like give me the nerves. Like I'm not very good with them recording, like chatting thing. I don't like to talk. Like even when I'm DJing, I'm just like in my zone.
Yeah.
Don't bother me.
A safe space, the DJ booth, safe space.
I'm a little bit like stage shy as well. I don't have the biggest personality, but that's why I always need a few drinks to kind of.
No, a few. Yeah.
I always have like, and a few more before it. Yeah. So what do you say?
Yeah. So it's basically like starting content. Basically.
Yeah. Oh.
I mean, we are like in the era where we don't do anything like it. Always has to go through social media somehow.
Yeah.
Some way. Hey, we want to promote our new tuition center. Also must go through social media. That kind of things.
I mean, I see the appeal in it, but YouTube particularly, I don't know. The thought of it's a little bit daunting to me.
But TikTok shorter form.
That can be done. I think that's like because you can kind of cut and chop and all that. You can make the video very colorful and make it very interesting. And that I think down the road, if any field or in any ways that you want to promote yourself, especially like what you say, like if you want to kind of be independent, do your own thing, like you need to rely on promoting yourself on social media and all that. However ways, like probably not like TikTok dance lah, but different kind of TikTok, I guess. I haven't caught up with TikTok. I haven't caught up with TikTok yet.
I was gonna search TikTok and like see you dancing or whatever.
You dance with a QR code.
Yeah.
Sign up for my
Yeah, I'm scared. No, man. Like I try, but I always like forgot about it for some reason. Like
At least you are not stuck in a Facebook era. You are Instagram era.
nobody's on Facebook anymore, aren't they?
Hey, God, people, man. I'm saying, hey, on Facebook.
I'm just sharing memes and stupid videos on Facebook.
Yeah.
If you ever add me there, you'll see a lot of.
most people's like feed on Facebook is like really like not
Happy birthday.
it's not real time. Yeah. Happy
birthday reminders.
Yeah, I hardly use Facebook.
That's where your family spies on you with Facebook.
Or they use it to unlock their Candy Crush next level. My grandmother's sister still use.
Yeah, what?
My grandmother's sister still use. Yes, man.
People still playing Candy Crush.
I mean that era. I mean, there's so many social media right now. There's the Lemonade. There's like 小红书, you know.
Oh yeah,
There's all that kind of stuff. So and now recently with Threads also, I guess like it can be like quite daunting as well, quite overwhelming.
yeah.
And then maybe we can talk a little bit about like your future plans in music, because right now I guess you are like full-time DJ, and I believe you want to focus on DJing. Yeah. So what are like the next level ups? You see, like for example, like for hip hop DJ, we next level up by going competitions. We turntablists, and then we start doing production, and then that's how we like kind of climb the ranks lah. But for yourself, would you say that there's also like a particular route that you are following?
I actually, speaking of competition, I actually went for competition before one time.
Oh, what competition is it?
It was like I heard like newbie like a newbie DJ competition, I guess. Like this was like 2012 or 2013. 2013, I think, shortly after the FFF camp. It was in Malacca, actually, in Malaysia. And I mean, I didn't win. Yeah, I wasn't like the most technical, but the song choice that I picked, like nobody played that, because most of them are all into like EDM and all that. All of them are actually that. Yeah, so there's a lot of tracks that are like replayed as well from different DJs and all that. Yeah, but yeah, that was like a really fun experience. I practiced that particular routine for a while, for maybe a few months or something. And yeah, but yeah, now I forgot everything, by the way. But that was a really fun experience. But I think like now moving forward, I think I want to, for me, like I want to be able to DJ for as long as I can. Like,
Same.
yeah, I mean,
78-year-old grandma, grandpa DJ.
oh yeah,
Lisa or
yeah,
grandma, then say bring your kids.
yeah, I have to be wearing like this.
5 seconds, please.
We'll be forever like semi-retired only because we're still gonna be DJs.
Yeah,
It's always the semi-retired.
never.
I think it's like the youth never dies.
Yeah,
Forever.
young at heart, right? I think most DJs are all very young at heart, you know?
Yeah.
Like, but for me, like, I think I want to try to be able to play more like genres, like more different kind of, expose myself more. I think now I'm collecting a lot of stuff that is coming out of my comfort zone. I'm playing a bit of like more like tech house and like getting into, try to cater to a bit more of like the more I don't want to say commercial, but is it like commercial tech? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Stage techno.
I mean stage, okay, there's a lot of like like basically different kind of technos, but maybe below something below 130 or something, because like I know like the 140 150s technos are, I went to one of this party, like techno party, and yeah, I feel old.
You think of fun was
150 techno, 150 that was
I'm not calling him out, but I feel old. That's what I'm trying to say. I feel old.
Yeah. Like one type techno. I first heard it in Bali. There's this song called Sanguine. That was the track that I kind of converted, like also opened my mind. Yeah, Sanguine or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, it's like a 125 techno by, I keep forgetting the artist. Yeah. basically that was the thing that opened my mind to techno. I'm like a hip hop DJ.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So I guess what's that called? Is it like progressive tech or something like that, right? Or deep hypnotic tech, right? 125 BPM hypnotic tech.
There's so many kind of tech, no?
So right now in Beatport they classify 3 different kind of techno, right? There's like hypnotic, and then there's like driving, hypnotic / raw. Then there's also like driving tech, and then there's like big and hard tech. And big techno is like main stage, right? They don't even classify that as techno.
Yeah, so you're gonna be a love guru, right?
I hope so.
Are you right now? Are you attached, married, or in a relationship? Or single?
Can I be somewhere in the middle?
Oh.
Like a mutual understanding kind, or
Handshake.
yeah. or a friends with benefits kind, or what's the other kind? Situationship.
Wow, situationship. Only one person I know situationship, bro.
Well, I'm single as part. Pretty much that. So that kind of sums up my love life. My unfortunate love life.
Do you feel like a pressure if you're like a love guru to be attached?
Good.
Well, I'm not there yet, but I don't think so. I feel like if you were to be like some sort of like love guru or like some relationship coach or whatever, I think being in a relationship will give you more understanding and also in a way maybe a little bit more credibility.
Dude, the thing is, you see, all the people that's not into that situation and are not in that situation, right, are always the one that's giving the best advice. You know why? Coaches don't play.
Oh, it's tough to play. Oh, yeah, that also they say they don't want that, but you still do music, bro. I also can. Yeah, I don't need here, bro. Yeah.
Relatable.
Yeah, relatable. Throwback 1700. Hug, man.
Yeah. But I think but I don't know, I'm not there yet. But maybe when I'm there, we'll do another podcast.
Definitely. I guess we can stay tuned to part 2 to this. I think this is a very great catch up. In a while since we like actually had a proper chat. Actually,
Yeah.
first few times that we actually had like a full on drawn
I know.
conversation. Yeah,
Yeah, it was really good to see you at the
Johnny Walker.
the Johnny Walker event. That was like a really good like
Chill, catch up.
I know I straight up came to you and I was like, dude, I watch all your podcasts. Like a lot of other podcasts. I mean, I love it. Right? I told you like it's very relatable and it's like getting different perspective and everyone is like coming from so different background. And yeah, I love this podcast. But like, thanks for having me.
Great. This is Revelry Podcast with Durio. See you guys next time.